Hello and welcome back to another video of EUC in Austin. My name is Rachel, and this video is actually the Windermere Park located in Pflugerville. If you watched the prior video, which was the first video that I've done of our family group rides on these electric unicycle, short for EUCs, that one was on the South Walnut Creek Trail in Austin. And in that video, I had talked a little bit about our journey as EUC electrical unicycle riders and our experience. So I wanted to kind of continue with the videos and talk to you about this experience here at the Windermere Park in Pflugerville. And this is a really great trail, whether you're a family, individual, with groups of friends. It's very long. It actually goes through the entire trail system of Pflugerville. So if you do kind of a search, go on Google Maps, check out Windermere Park, and it'll actually show you the entire trail system. And we did it. We started at the Windermere Park, and towards the end of the video, you'll see that we actually went all the way to the Northeast Metro Park in Pflugerville. And it's a really nice ride, especially if you are on one of these electric unicycles, or if maybe, for a nice bike ride, if you use an e-bike or an electric scooter. It's a very nice trail ride, a very long ride. And here we are, my husband and my daughter. Usually I had mentioned that we do these rides on Sundays, usually Sunday afternoon. We notice that most people stay inside on Sunday or they're out shopping, but they're not really out and about on these trails. So Sunday afternoons are pretty much our family group ride time on these electric unicycles. And you had seen a pedestrian walking. You want to be very careful when you do see pedestrians on this trail. We are very conservative when we do ride. We do slow down. Unfortunately, some of these, mostly the electric scooters, they've gotten a bad rap because there have been some usually younger people who do tend to speed. Usually it's downtown, and as far as I know, on the Zilker Park trails downtown, they are not allowed. Since we are under a different method, a different vehicle, electric unicycles, it doesn't apply to what we're on. So when you see no motorized vehicles, usually they're applying to scooters, sometimes e-bikes or the gas-powered scooters, ATVs, stuff like that. But when people see us on the electric unicycle, it's a completely different story because it doesn't fall within that category. And then also, we are conservative riders. So if you do ride these electric vehicles, just keep that in mind. And the more that people see good riders out there on these electric unicycles, electric scooters, electric bikes, e-bikes, or even the electric skateboards, the longboards or the one wheels, the more they see people riding them that are conservative, that do follow the rules, that don't cut people off, the better reputation that it gets. Unfortunately, in some areas, there actually have been banned in other states in different areas. And I'm not going to go into that in this video, but it's unfortunate because there's people who kind of wreck it for everyone else who are riding these vehicles. In any case, I just kind of went on a tangent there. So we are here in the Windermere Park. And what I like about this park, it's very quiet. And now again, we go on Sundays, but there's not many people out and about in this park. It is a very long trail system, so if we do see people who are walking it, they only walk parts of it, kind of like the South Walnut Creek Trail in the last video. They don't walk the entire thing. I had mentioned in the last video the most we've gone round trip as a family on these electric unicycles has been about 25 miles round trip. I believe doing this, it's about 13 miles one way, all the way to the Northeast Metro Park. So you can imagine walking that. It's not really ideal, but being on these vehicles, it's actually a really, really nice ride. Another thing I like about this trail system in Pflugerville is that, as you can see, the paths are very wide. It's pretty much flat. There's not many steep inclines, as you can see. So if you are riding this on, say, a manual bike or manual scooter, it's not that bad. It's actually really, really nice. And I do like that, there's trees around, there's coverage. One of the other trail systems that we've been on is the Brushy Creek Park up in North Austin as well too. But I found that there's not as many trees there, and I really, really like this Pflugerville trail because of the trees. As you can see, you're going through established residential neighborhoods here. So it's a really nice trail ride as a family, kind of relaxing, just to kind of take it easy. As you can see, we've only seen, I think there was only one pedestrian walking, but other than that, we haven't seen many people. So here we are continuing to go, and we're not going that fast. Again, you don't want to be a speed demon on these trail rides because there could be people on it walking. And I think I had mentioned in the last video, when you do see people, you want to get in a straight line. My daughter will get behind my husband, I will get behind them, and kind of move out of the way for some of these pedestrians. And whenever we do see a pedestrian, we will slow down. Also with bikes as well too. You see bike riders, which was in the last video. We will slow down or let them pass. And usually the etiquette for the bike riders is they will say something like, on your left, on your right. So they tell us that they're behind us. Or if they're coming from the other direction, they will say the same thing. And those are people who are experienced. They know the rules of the road. So if you're doing this, maybe beginners, as a family, just let your kids know, just to kind of follow your lead when you do see pedestrians or bikers. Here's another pedestrian, so we are going very conservatively slow. My husband likes to wave at people just to kind of be friendly, and we get a lot of really nice nods by people, or the kids love it when we go, oh, here I am, like, look both ways when you're crossing the street, and you just need to, follow the signs of the road, especially when there's a street there. And I am doing the video, but the video is actually on my helmet on top of my head. I had mentioned in the last video I'm using a GoPro 8 for these EUC videos. So, but yes, you do want to look both ways when you are crossing the street. You never know. And, sometimes there are drivers who just don't look, they're not paying attention. They may be on the phone or texting, which obviously is a no-no. You can't do that while you're driving, but just be careful. Now, as you can see here on the left, this is actually a residential neighborhood here in Pflugerville. So basically, you see these fences. This is the backyard of some people who live here. And as homeowners, they can just go out on the trail system and use it, which is really nice. This is kind of they call it a green belt, when you see these things in real estate. So, we're just kind of going at a conservative speed. And yeah, we get a lot of people just look at us and wave to us and say hi to us. And overall, we've had a good experience when people do see us. One of the fears that, some other videos, there are people who just they don't like it. And I think it's because when they see or hear about some of these people who don't follow the rules of the road, they're not conservative, they just kind of ruin it for everyone else. But overall, riding as a family here in Austin, we've had a really, really good experience, a positive experience when we are on our electric unicycle. Okay, if you can see here, it's getting narrow. So we are riding here between the rails, so we are very careful when we see this. And one of the things I didn't know, my husband told me, the reason why there is this rail system, yes, it's for people if they want to hold on to something, but it's also for so that sometimes they don't want bikes to actually go through this area. And it would be kind of hard, with the handrails and everything. And we are going in a tunnel now, so we are slowing down. And you just want to be careful, especially when you're in dark areas. And then now we're going back up. But as you can see with the rail, with handlebars as a bike, it would be very hard to actually ride this part and maneuver. So we made it, and that was hard mode. Now, if you're just beginning, we are intermediate riders now, but if you're just beginning, you probably just want to get off your electric unicycle and walk it, because having that skill of being in between the rails is more at an intermediate level, since you do have to kind of slow down. And you don't want to hurt yourself, if you don't have to. Obviously, when you get better as an electric unicycle rider, EUC rider, then you can do stuff like that. But if you're just starting out, I wouldn't recommend it. I had talked about us learning how to ride the EUC and practicing in the parking lot in the last video. Try to do that, and then once you get kind of a feel for riding it, then you can go on these trail systems. But I wouldn't try to do anything tricky like that, riding between the rails, or even doing tricks. Now, I'm not even like that. I do not I'm more of a cruiser, so I don't do tricks. But my husband used to skateboard, as I mentioned in the last video. So he actually likes to learn about how to do tricks on the electric unicycle. But I'm more of a casual rider, more of a cruiser, just to kind of enjoy nature and just be out and about. It also relieves stress for me personally. Both me and my husband do work from home, but when I need a break and I've got time in between meetings or calls or whatever it is I have to do while I do work from home, and actually just get on the electric unicycle, or even after I'm done, with work, I would just get on the electric unicycle and just ride it, or even around the neighborhood. It's just a great stress reliever. And then also to do something physical, like to do some physical exercise. It's really great. And I had a friend ask, so is this a full body workout? And I guess in a way it is, because you're using your entire body. You are standing up. Right now, I am using a V11 in motion, which has suspension. I'm not going to go into the pros and cons of it because I'm not an expert on these specific electric unicycles. My husband did the research, but it's really nice. It does actually have a seat on it, and I've learned how to actually ride my V11 in motion sitting down, actually, and it's great because I get to rest my legs. And I thought it was going to be really hard to learn how to ride it, sitting down, but it wasn't. I actually mount sitting down on it. And I'm a short person, so I'm not tall. My husband's about 6 feet. I'm about 5 feet, so there's a foot between us. And the V11, if you look at it, it's pretty high. So I thought that would be an issue, but it's actually not, as long as I got my practice in. And that's all I can say about learning how to ride these electric unicycles. There are some people who've mentioned to me that, it does look intimidating, and they're worried, am I going to fall? And yes, you will fall a lot. It's just like learning how to ride a bike. But eventually, with enough persistence and practice, you will learn how to ride it. So here we're making a turn. We're still on the trail system. And in the beginning, when we did make turns, especially, if there's pedestrians around, we do slow down. And it's funny because slowing down is actually a skill to have. When the electric unicycle, when you first started, yeah, you can go around the parking lot. There's no one there. It's completely empty and goes fast and be a speed demon. But when there are pedestrians around and you actually have to slow down while you're on the electric unicycle, and there's kids around and dogs around, that is a skill to be able to actually control the vehicle, slow it down. You have to have enough momentum so that you can keep your balance on your electric unicycle. You can't be too slow, otherwise it'll just, tumble over, because there is a trick to staying balanced on it, but slowing it down and at a walking speed. We can do that now since we are intermediate riders, but we did have to practice that, especially when we see moms with baby strollers, kids around, and even dogs. It was funny. There was one time we were up in Round Rock at the old Settlers Park, and we weren't riding that fast, but a dog owner, she couldn't control her dog. It was a really, really small dog, and it went right in front of me out of the blue. At that point in time, I stopped my electric unicycle, my EUC, and got off of it. Had I kept going or even tried to slow it down, that dog would have been hit by my electric unicycle. So you do have to learn to kind of gauge, in those situations, well, what should I do? Should I slow down? If you got to be aware. And that's one thing that the electric unicycle has helped me to be more aware. I'm actually a very conservative driver driving a car. I may be too conservative, but I follow the same thing when I'm on my electric unicycle. I'm very aware of my surroundings. I watch, I listen, but with that dog, it just ran in front of me. I didn't even have any, notice. The owner, it was so funny, and she started laughing. Oh, I'm so sorry. It happens, And when that happens, you kind of got to, take note and see, what do I need to do, hopefully, before it happens. Now, if it just happens to you so quick, just like it happened to me, you've got to react, and if you're in a situation and you feel like it's not safe, get off. Just get off. That's the best thing you can do if you can't control the situation. But in any case, I digress, and we are still on the system here, the trail system. As you can see, it goes on, and above us, there's a bridge. That's actually the street here in Pflugerville. So we're actually going through the trail system here. If you can see on the left, there's cars there. We're at Bowles Park in the city of Pflugerville. We just passed a sign. So if you look on the map, Bowles Park, city of Pflugerville, map it from Windermere to Bowles Park, you'll see the trail map. Doing a map search on Google Maps, so you know where we are in the trail. So like I said before, we are headed to the Northeast Metro Park in Pflugerville. We did start at Windermere Park. It's a real nice park, that Windermere Park. Very quiet. My daughter, she's 10 now, but when she was, I think when she was in kindergarten, she was taking tennis lessons with the city of Pflugerville. So there at Windermere Park, it's a real nice park. If you get a chance, if you have kids or a family, if you want to go to that park, and there's not many people who go there. I think the majority of people, they actually live in the neighborhood, which is kind of nice. But you can visit it. There's no restrictions, like you have to live here, not live here. It's all part of the city of Pflugerville. And I think we're passing a baseball field, and there's some restrooms here on the trail system. On the right, you see people sitting down. Sometimes we actually break there, but we're 20 minutes into the ride. We keep going. And you see my husband there is wearing a backpack. That is because there's a story. We were at the Northeast Metro Park one time, and he was actually on the V11, the in motion V11, and there was some kind of indentation in the street that he didn't see. Sometimes there's potholes or there's some kind of dip, and he actually fell backwards and landed on his back. And had he not have had his helmet, he would have seriously injured his head and maybe had brain injury. So, like I said in the last video, safety is very important, and he does wear that backpack. He looked into armor, but I guess some of the more experienced riders, they just wear a backpack. And it's funny because I have noticed that there have been experienced riders on video on YouTube that do wear a backpack. It's to actually protect their back. I also wear a backpack as well to protect my back. And there's actually, he bought some kind of, I think it's kind of like a foam protection insert that you can actually put in the backpack instead of having like a dedicated backpack with armor or some dedicated piece of clothing with armor. It was kind of like a foam that he put in the backpack. I also have one too, so that if I, flip over backwards like he did, it will actually protect my back and his back. And I do have the backpack also to carry drinks and snacks. We do have a 10-year-old, so she gets thirsty, we get thirsty, she gets hungry, we get hungry, just to have snacks on these rides, so that we can break. And it's really nice because in these parks in Austin, they're real nice with the trail systems and everything. And you can just find a bench, and just, have a drink, have a snack on a Sunday afternoon, which is what we do. And then, after you kind of have your drink and your snack, then you just kind of continue. So we pretty much just take our time in the afternoons. It's real nice to kind of get out there. During the week, we're just so busy. Like my daughter has school. Me and my husband both work from home. So, we get really busy during the week. And Saturdays are pretty busy too. Sometimes my daughter has events at school. We just ran a 5K yesterday. Today's Sunday morning. Yesterday on a Saturday. So it was pretty busy. So doing something, having a dedicated time and day, like we do on Sunday to do these rides, is real nice. And it's also something that we look forward to. Okay, we are on the street here on the sidewalk. Like you see that no motor vehicle sign. I had said that usually that pertains to, gas-powered ATVs, stuff like that shouldn't be on the sidewalk because of pedestrians. So we're in a completely different category as EUC electrical unicycle riders. But I think we just passed on the left. You see that building, that blue building? It's the Amazon, I think it's one of their Amazon fulfillment centers or warehouses. And we are still heading to the Northeast Metro Park. And this is still part of the trail system. So we are 24 minutes into the video, into our ride, and we are still continuing. So as you can see, this is not a short ride. It's actually a really nice ride. I feel like, we get our time worth, we get our, money's worth out of these electric unicycles, because, they are kind of pricey to purchase them up front, but you get so much out of it. You get your experience, and they're really good products. So we've really enjoyed it as a family. So like I had mentioned in the last video, I was a roller skater. Every weekend I would go to the roller rink, or I would be roller skating in my neighborhood, and then I also skied every year. It is the month of December, and it's just something that I always look forward to. Now, if you're wondering, what time of year this video is in, this was actually in July, just like the last EUC video that I did of our South Walnut Creek Trail. So this was in July, and there's some wind, and I apologize if you can hear a lot of wind. I don't have a windscreen for the mic for the GoPro. It's just pretty much on top of my head. But I like to actually include the sound from the surrounding area and then do these commentaries on top of it, so you can kind of listen to the noise, the actual noise as we do these rides. The cars, the trees rustling, kind of feel like you're there with us as well too. But sometimes the wind, yes, because if we're going faster, or this is just wind in the air. So I apologize if it's a little bit ruffled, or you hear a lot of wind in some areas of the video. But yeah, we're just kind of going along here. This is kind of a stretch here. So it would be difficult. I think it would be difficult if a family, unless, you're bike enthusiasts, rode this on manual bikes. Like I had mentioned in the last video, we do have friends who are a family, and they ride bikes while we ride the electric unicycle. A lot of times they ride with us, whether it's up here, up north, or a lot of times we do go down to Zilker Park to ride. Now we are on the street here, so when you get on the street, just want to be careful. Like you see my daughter, she's right behind my husband. You just kind of want to get in a straight line, but there's a stretch here to get to the Northeast Metro Park. So we did go off trail. I think that sidewalk kept going, but this is the way to where we have to get. So you just kind of want to be slow, be conservative, let the cars pass. And one thing, if you are riding at night, you want to be seen. We don't do night rides in the street. Sometimes we do ride at night with our friends down in Zilker, but we do have, there is a light on these electric unicycles, a front and a back, and then our helmets also have lights on them in the front and the back. So you definitely want to make sure that you're seen if you're going to be riding at night, and have those types of lights around you. So whether it's on the front of your helmet and the back of the helmet, and then on the electric unicycle, they're kind of built in for that, so that you be seen at night. And even if it's a little cloudy and there's not much sun, it's better to be safe than sorry. Now we're getting back on the sidewalk here. We made it, as you can see, and here we go again. As you can see, these sidewalks are very, very wide, which I like. As you go down south towards Austin proper, the sidewalks get more narrow, and it's very hard to actually ride as a family on the sidewalks as you get down further and further down south of Austin. So having these nice wide sidewalks in Pflugerville as we go to the Northeast Metro Park is really, really nice. We're making a turn here and we are continuing. So here we go in another road, another long stretch here. It's very nice. I just love seeing the trees. I mean, there's so many trees. As you can see, the trees on the right are more, seems like it's more, they're bigger, they're more established, and then the left, those are smaller trees, so they could be been newly planted, a few years ago. And I just really like it. Now, this is very established. It's an established neighborhood, established trail system here in Pflugerville, so you're gonna get that coverage with the trees. There is a story when my husband, he's in the Air Force, when he was stationed in Germany, we'd always go bike riding, either bike riding or for a jog on their own trail systems there. And that's one thing I loved about Germany, that you were actually in the real forest. Even though you were in the city, these trails, you don't even see the road. They're completely covered with the trees, since the trees have been there for a very long time, so you don't even feel like you're in the city when you're in the forest system on the trails in Germany. And that was one of the things I loved. And I know it's kind of hard here in the United States to have that unless you actually are in a complete trail system away from the city, but this is kind of very close to it. Okay, here we are here. We are at the Northeast Metro Park here in the city of Pflugerville. So we did make it. I'm looking both ways. And again, you see that no motor vehicle sign. And again, it pertains to ATVs, gas-powered scooters, those types of vehicles. They do have to put some kind of signage. The electric unicycle is its own category. It's not loud. And it's not one of those off-road vehicles, so it doesn't take up the entire space of the path. And it's really nice here. So if you get a chance, check out the Northeast Metro Park. You can also start here on your trail ride if you want to park. It was Sunday and there was not that many people. Funny story, we actually accidentally found this place. Like I said, we already knew about the Windermere Park where we had started this video because my daughter had taken tennis a few years back with the city of Pflugerville. Well, the Northeast Metro Park, we were actually driving and my husband just kept going. Sometimes he gets into these, let's explore, let's see what's around. And we were driving, I believe, on the road, and he started exploring, and then we just kind of kept going, and we kind of just accidentally found this park. And he was like, wait a minute, what is this place? We have never been here. And we've been here in Austin for a while. It's not like we just moved here. So we had never been to this park. It was actually a funny story, accidentally. So we drove around. He's like, I wonder, if there's, trails. And he started, exploring it, just doing some research online. And he showed me, oh my gosh, this whole thing, it goes through the trail system with the city of Pflugerville. So from there, he mapped it out. And this ride, my husband is the one that is, a lot of times he does lead these rides. I'm more the historian, but this was his idea, and he did map this out. So we are actually on the trail in the Northeast Metro Park in Pflugerville, and it's more the old part of the Pflugerville, not the newer part. So that's why you see a lot of trees. And like I had mentioned, it does feel a little bit like Germany. There's so many trees here, which is great. And I think they have a lot of, on the weekends, usually Saturdays, soccer games here when we looked more into it further. And there's also a skate park. So if you have kids that skateboard, there's a really nice skate park here, and you'll see it. I think we will pass it. And sometimes when we do ride, like when we've ridden with our friends and their family, we've started our rides at the skate park. And there's plenty of parking, which is always, a plus, which I like because it's not, going down a Zilker. It's really hard to find parking no matter, what time of the day, what day of the week that you go, or sometimes you even have to pay for parking. So that's one thing I do like about here in Pflugerville, the Northeast Metro Park. As you can see on the right, we just passed another bench, and there's another one on the left, that you can just kind of sit on if you do need to take a break. But we keep going here, and it's real nice. The weather was, I think it was pretty nice this day. There was some wind, so you obviously probably can hear in parts of the video the wind, on this video. And again, I do apologize for that. It's just part of, riding. And obviously in my future videos, you probably will hear it. Now I'm crossing, gotta look, make sure, be aware. There's kind of an incline up here, and we are still in the park. This is really, really neat. And there's also a playground for the kids as well too. So, and then if you do need to take a restroom break as well too, you can do that here in the park. And I believe very close to taking a break here in the video. Usually we do take a break, and then after our break, we just kind of go back halfway. So we've been riding here. We're at the 36-minute mark of the video, and it looks like we're going, but I believe that we are going to take a break very soon. So now this was in July, so it could have been kind of hot, having some wind, but we still rode. It was still nice to ride, even if it was July. I am recording this in December. Here we are taking a turn, and I'm trying to do this last video before we go on vacation. And here we are, as you can see, this skate park here in the Northeast Metro Park. We're very close to the skate park. I believe it's a little bit behind us. And I think my husband is going to stop so that we can take a break. He's slowing down. Usually in these videos when we're around these areas and we start slowing down, I know he wants to take a break, probably looking for a place to take a break here. As you can see, there's a lot to choose from. Slowing down here. Okay, we are turning around here, finding a spot, and going through the bench area here. Time for a break. Rest stop. Okay. Sometimes there's birthday parties in this, underneath this gazebo too, so it's real nice. Again, this is the Northeast Metro Park. We're very close to the skate park area. There's a big parking lot there if you do want to start there on this trail ride. Here we go. I think we're slowing down here. Yeah, we're going to sit here, take a break, and have something to drink. And we are ready to go again. Continuing to ride. So we just took a break. We probably drank some water, had a snack, talked a little bit, and now we are ready to go back. Again, that was at, I believe, the 36-minute mark. So we are 38 minutes into the video. So we are going to go back. So usually when we do these rides, we ride for as long as, our feet get tired, and then we go back. and backtrack it. So usually our rides are about an hour to 2 hours at the max when we are doing these rides. So, and I believe this is the late afternoon here, and we are just kind of backtracking. We are going back to where we started. We are in the Northeast Metro Park in Pflugerville, so we are going back to where we started in the parking lot in the Windermere Park in Pflugerville. Like I said, if you do want to map it out, just go on the Google Maps and check out the trail system, City of Pflugerville. You can see it. It's pretty long. It goes through multiple parks. This is the trail system. And it's real nice. So if you look at Windermere Park to Northeast Metro Park on the Google Maps and map out the trail system, you'll kind of get an idea, get a feel for, how far we went. But I believe it's about 13, 14 miles what we've done one way. And then so going back, it's about 26 miles, I think, round trip. So, which is a good ride. After a while, we're tired. Then we just kind of go home, relax. It's late in the afternoon. And then I just kind of grab dinner. And that's our Sunday as a family. So, I hope you are enjoying these videos, and I just want to take some time right now to just thank you for watching this video. And if you did watch the last video, the first video of the South Walnut Creek Trail, thank you also for watching. And I hope you're getting a lot out of these videos. I like to do commentary so that you can kind of know, our story, our journey, what we're going through as EUC, electrical unicycle riders, as a family. Like I had mentioned in the last video, this was all my husband's idea I do film, and I take photos, but to actually put this in video format and upload it to our video channel so that other people can see what we do as a family. And it really started out as a journey to look for places to go as a family and ride our electric unicycles, EUCs. There are some groups here in Austin that they ride. There's one electrical unicycle group, I believe, and then there's also a one-wheel group, which is huge. One wheel is actually the skateboard group, and there's people who ride e-bikes on that too, electric bikes. But those groups we found, they're great that they're here. There's mostly individuals there on those rides, not many families. So we were looking, where are the family group rides? And what I, found to be is that there's not many here in Austin. And our friends who've been riding bikes for a long time with their families, a lot of times they do go to Zilker Park to ride their bikes as a family. They started asking, their friends and people that they worked with who had families, and we go on group rides with them. And so, I was thinking, I guess if you want to ride with other families, you just have to kind of ask other families that your kids' friends or people that you work with, if they have families, to ride together as a group. Okay, here's the family here. So you just want to be very careful when you see pedestrians. That kid you see did not even have shoes on. So we just have to slow down and be conservative when we do see pedestrians on these trails. We don't go there very fast on these trails, especially when we're approaching pedestrians, or if there's bikers, or if we see moms with the strollers and kids and dogs walking around, here we are in the Northeast Metro Park, again, City of Pflugerville. There's a baseball field right here, as you can tell, and we are leaving the park. We're still on the trail system. We are backtracking to go back to the Windermere Park. So this is a very nice ride. We are about 45 minutes into this ride and we're going back. So as you can tell, I mean, there's not many people here on a Sunday afternoon, which is nice. This is through the city of Pflugerville, the Northeast Metro Park. It's a real nice place to take your family and ride, whether you have electric vehicles like us, electric unicycles, if you have e-bikes, scooters, or if you have just regular scooters or regular bikes. It's a real nice ride. You do get your money's worth going through these trails, and it's all free, which is great. You don't have to live in the neighborhood. And we are heading back. We are leaving the park now, so you can see in the distance, I believe those are apartment buildings, and we are heading back towards the street. So just kind of heading back to Windermere Park. It's real nice. So I do hope that you enjoy these videos, and please, if you do watch these videos and you enjoy them, please consider subscribing to our video channel, our YouTube channel, so that you get notified when we do have more videos. And if you have friends, other, family members or friends who are interested in our family group ride journey as electric unicyclists, please let them know about the channel. Again, it's called EUC in Austin. We are a family of 3 here in Austin, and we are just kind of sharing our journey as EUC electrical unicycle riders here in Austin, and showing you the different places that we're riding, the different trails and the different trail systems here in Austin, Texas. So I hope you really do enjoy these videos, and thank you so much for watching and letting your friends and family know about this video channel. So here we are back on the street. You see there the Courtyard by Marriott. So I don't know what street this is on, but if you're, interested, or it's piqued your curiosity, you can look up Courtyard by Marriott in Pflugerville near the Northeast Metro Park, and you can kind of get an idea of where we are in the trail system as we ride back to Windermere Park. As you can see on the left, there are those apartment buildings on the left, and we're back here on the road, staying on the sidewalk. We do try to stay on the sidewalk as much as possible, especially when we're with our daughter, but there are parts where the sidewalk does break up that we do have to get on the street, and when we're there, we just very conservative, and we make sure to get back on the sidewalk, especially on these busy roads, once it comes back, after it breaks. So here we are turning, and there we go. And you can see the cars, and there's a lot of, it's funny because, you see those trees, in the Northeast Metro Park, and then you see here on the left all this land. So I don't know if this used to be farmland. You saw it available. I think they're selling that land. It's private land. I don't know if that used to be owned by farmers, or if it used to be, farmed, a long time ago. We are on Biltmore Avenue here. I don't know what the cross streets is, but see, we are crossing, and you got to be careful of those cars who are, making a right. Always try to get eye contact when you do see cars and you're crossing, just to make sure that the driver of the car has eye contact with you and they are letting you go. Usually I do a wave, like, is it okay to go, and just go. But I give it that 1 second or couple seconds before I cross the street, just in case they just kind of swipe. And, it's happened to me at these intersections in the past that there have been people who've actually, they just kind of just turn, they don't even wait for me as a pedestrian. So just give it those, couple of seconds, because it is worth it. You don't want to get hit by a car. It's not worth it to get hit by a car and then end up in the hospital, no matter if it's the other person's fault or if it's not. No one wants to get hit. So just be careful when you do cross those streets, when you are crossing these intersections, especially when they are busy, that you get eye contact with the driver if they're also making a turn where you need to cross. So usually it'll be if they're making a right and you're going across the other way, or in that other scene back there, they were making a right, but we were crossing the other way. So just something to be aware of, knowing the rules of the road, and that, safety is more important than anything else. And I can't stress that enough. It's better to be safe than sorry. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's just one of those things that you need to be aware of. So here we go. We're going back to the Windermere Park in Pflugerville. It's a Sunday afternoon on our family group ride on our electric unicycles. And one thing I did want to mention is I am on the V8S in motion during this. That was my first wheel. My daughter is on a Pagode M10, okay, for her, and that's specifically for kids. And in this video, I think in the first video at the South Walnut Creek Trail ride, my husband was on the V11 in motion, which has suspension. Now he's on a smaller wheel. And this is I believe it's a Pagode mountain climber wheel. And this wheel is actually a small wheel. It's a smaller wheel than the V11 in motion. But it can actually climb mountains. That's why it's called the mountain climber. And it's got a lot of torque. So if you kind of want to just start and then, accelerate like a car, it's not a slow acceleration. You can actually just go fast on that. It has torque, especially if you're going up a steep incline. And he really tends to like that. My daughter did try it, that Pagode mountain climber, but it's a little bit too big for her. She is 10 right now. She prefers her wheel, which is that M10, that small one. She's very comfortable with that. That is her first wheel. And my first EUC wheel is the V8S in motion. Like I had mentioned in the last video, and I still ride it. It's a really good wheel, but my main wheel now has suspension, is the V11 in motion with the seat. So if I want to take a break, I can actually ride my V11 in motion sitting down. And I do tend to mount sitting down as well too. So, honestly, what we have are really all good wheels. I had mentioned in the last video, my husband's newest wheel, he just got it, is the Sherman Max. And that is really meant for the road. It has a long range, battery life. It's a very heavy wheel. It's close to 100 pounds, so it's a bigger wheel, but he loves it. So we just like doing this as a family, riding the electric unicycle. So that's kind of some trivia there on what my husband is riding in this video, and what my daughter is riding, and then what I am riding. So here we go. We're still on the sidewalk. I think we're going to make a turn. You see the NTB there. I don't know what this street is, but it's getting narrow here. So you see this, you just want to be very conservative, slow down, especially when the sidewalk narrows like this. You don't want to speed through this, because one little dip, one little crack, one little pothole, it can seriously throw you off. And there was a time I believe it was close to this. You can see my shadow there. Trail that there was actually a dip or a pothole in the street, and I fell, and my daughter fell too. We just, we didn't see it. And sometimes there are times when you can be so aware, but you can't catch everything. Now here we're passing water. You want to be very conservative, very slow, because once these electric unicycles, if they fall in water, they cannot be submerged in water. They're basically done for. So just be careful when you're in the areas close to water. They're not meant to ride in the water or be submerged in water. I will say, me and my husband actually rode in the rain one time. It was during the week. We were going to go get lunch at a nearby food truck, and we took our wheels, our electric unicycles. It was really nice to actually take it to that food truck, but it was cloudy, and we weren't sure. We checked the weather, and the rain, it was up in there. It just said kind of cloudy, so we kind of risked it. But when we almost got to the food truck, it started pouring like crazy. So, our choice was to eat and just wait for the rain to stop, or, take our food from the food truck, go back to the rain, go back through the rain, hoping that it doesn't get worse. And, he's like, it's up to you and your comfort level. I was on my InMotion V11 and he was on his Sherman Max. I'm like, I think we should go back because it could actually get worse. And good thing we did. We had to trudge through the rain. It was pouring. And funny thing is, I do wear goggles now, so it's a good thing. So we have a helmet. I like to wear goggles because sometimes there's particles in the wind that could actually get in your eye, or bugs. But I had to keep wiping my goggles because of the water. But had I not, all that water would have just gotten into, my eyes. So, yeah, funny story. But we made it, because once we got home, it actually got worse. So had we waited it out, then that would not have been a good thing. Okay, we are 56 minutes into the video. We are still on the trail system here in Pflugerville. We are getting back to the Windermere Park where we started, and we are almost done here with our ride on a Sunday afternoon. I think the time of day, as you can see, we started out in the early afternoon, and I think this is a late afternoon already, and we are almost back to where we started. And you see those cracks in the sidewalk? You just got to be careful. You don't want your wheel, if you see those lines that are going, I believe it's vertically, they call that railroading. If your wheel actually rides through those cracks, you could actually fall or tip over. You want to just avoid that. And there's something you can do called carving, similar to, if you're a skier, just going left to right, carving. You'll see my husband or my daughter do that in these videos, especially my daughter. She's really good at carving. And that's something that I need to practice more on, because if you're just straight on the electric unicycle, you can, lose your balance. So it's good to kind of carve, as a skier, and then bend your legs and kind of lean forward. I mean, it does take practice and time. I'm a better rider than I was when I first started, but just something that I still have to constantly, be aware of. And, the more experience that we get, the better riders we are. So, but yeah, we're getting towards the end of the video here. I know this is the second time I've said that, but I just want to let you know. Like I said, we started at Windermere Park in Pflugerville. Our destination was the Northeast Metro Park in Pflugerville on the Pflugerville Trail System. And it's a Sunday afternoon here in July. We're riding these electric unicycles. Okay, you see a pedestrian there, and there's water, so got to be very careful and duck. My husband's tall, so 6 feet. We both have to duck. Sometimes I actually don't have to duck since I'm only 5 feet tall. But here we are, almost there. And it's just been a very fun experience. Like I said, we started this in January of this year, 2022, and now it is December. And I just wanted to do this commentary before we go on vacation. We're going on a road trip back to California. We're originally from California. We have family and friends in California, going on a road trip, taking our dog. And I just wanted to get one last video uploaded to our YouTube channel, our video channel, before we went on our trip. Like I said in the last video, we have so much video coverage of all the trails that we've been in here in Austin. And I am going to take my GoPro with us on our road trip to California. And my husband really does want to take the electric unicycles as well, too. So stay tuned for that. I may have footage of us riding the electrical unicycle in California on our vacation in Christmas. It is December 2022 as I do this commentary. And here's another park. There's a lot of parks that we pass on the trail system here in Pflugerville. So it's real nice just to kind of, have these parks around. And, it's free. It's where your, taxpayer money goes. Might as well use it. You see a park here. I don't know the name of this park, but you can do a search on the Google Maps on this trail system. It's really nice. Just really, really nice. So we are continuing back to Windermere Park in Pflugerville. So, and there is a pedestrian there. A lot of times the pedestrian will actually move out of our way, so they've been really nice about it. But there's some people who are just not paying attention, or they're listening to headphones, or they're on the phone. Those people, you just need to make sure that they're aware that you're there. And one of the ways we do that is I play music. I have a speaker that I attach to my backpack. My husband has a speaker, and he also has a speaker for our daughter, and she attaches it to her wheel. There's a handle on her electric unicycle that the speaker can attach to. And so we find that, unless they have headphones on, that people are aware that we're behind them if we are playing our music. Obviously you don't want to play it too loud. And then most times they will move out of the way for us. Or if they don't and they're going very slow, instead of trying to pass them, especially if the path is super narrow, more narrow than what you see here, we'll actually just get off our wheel and walk the wheel past them, or allow them to pass us, give them, some distance, and then get back on the wheel. Again, it's better to be safe than sorry. You don't want an accident. And, whether it's your fault or their fault, whatever happens, it's going to give electrical unicycle riders a bad rap. And, if you can avoid that by being more safe, than others, then, just do that, so that it's not ruined for everyone. Unfortunately, there are some bad seeds out there that do ruin it for everyone else, but you can only do what you can do. You can only control yourself and what you do and what your family does, versus trying to control what other people do. So that's just kind of some words of advice from me as an electric unicycle to you. So I hope this has been very helpful and educational. One person who viewed our video told me that, it looks so peaceful, and there's not many people on the trail. And I think I addressed that before. There's not a lot of people on the trails, usually on Sundays, especially in the afternoon. And even, we do ride in the street sometimes on Sundays. We find that there's not as many cars on the road on Sundays because we've actually gone farther out of our neighborhoods without even using the car and riding the electric unicycle. We actually rode the electric unicycle all the way to our daughter's school, which is in a completely different neighborhood and area of Austin. So that was a real nice ride that we did. And if I do have video footage, I can't think of it. I have so much video footage in my hard drive. I will share that with you. But I believe, we rode all the way to Crestview area in 99 Ranch because her and my husband love bubble tea. So we kind of stopped there at 99 Ranch Market. It's an Asian grocery store. And for our break, we got a bubble tea. They call it bubble milk tea. They really like that. For me, I'm more of a coffee drinker, so I'm not as into that as they are, but they just love it. So that's kind of our new thing, going to these bubble milk tea places to get these drinks as a break, for a ride. We may do that today. There's a bubble milk tea place in our neighborhood that they both like going to. So we may ride to that place and then just ride back home without even using the car, without even using gas for the car. And these rides are great because, you actually become more aware of your surroundings. You kind of get to know, oh, wow, there's these places to eat. There's these places to shop. I didn't notice this. Oh, wow, there's a park. Versus you're in a car on the road, you just don't notice those things. So it just gives you a different perspective on life and where you live and your surroundings. Brings more awareness, in my opinion, to your surroundings to kind of enjoy some of these things, A lot of it is really the experience of riding. That's why we love it. And I used to roller skate. I used to ski as a kid, so I just love the electric unicycle. We have everything. Like we have the electric scooters. My husband bought an e-bike. He has an electric skateboard. But out of all of our electric vehicles, personally, for me, I enjoy the electric unicycle the most. And I think my daughter also enjoys the electric unicycle. I mean, those other vehicles are great. I do use the electric scooter to go get food. I think I'd mentioned that in another video. There's a restaurant nearby, Mexican restaurant, that we eat and we just kind of get food. And there's a container my husband had made from a laundry plastic bin from Costco, and he attached it to my electric scooter, which I do use. So it's something to do, but I do enjoy the electric unicycle over all our other electric vehicles. So we're just loving it. So I am too. But we're getting towards the end of our ride here, so I hope that you've enjoyed this video and this commentary of our group ride here. Like I said before, we started out at the Windermere Park in Pflugerville, and we rode all the way to the Northeast Metro Park on the trail system in Pflugerville. So map it out. If it's something that you're interested in doing with your family or friends, a really great trail ride for the family. There's a dog there with an owner, so just be careful of those. Slow down when you see dogs because they are meant to chase cars. So if something is going too fast, they will try to chase it. It's just an instinct. I didn't know that. So just be careful when you see dogs. Okay, we are almost here. And I just wanted to let you know. Okay, this is at the Murtree Farms in City of Pflugerville. They're on your left. There's eggs, goats, all kinds of things, chickens there, so you may hear them in the background. But we are back here at the Windermere Park. So we are all done. This is the end of our ride, and thank you so much for watching this video. This is Rachel from EUC in Austin. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.